Guys, we are trucking right along with our fourth set of qualifiers coming straight to you from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. This is the American Ninja Warrior After Show, so stick around because you're not going to want to miss it.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Oh, boy.
We got strobe lights in the studio.
See, the song already gets me hyped, but guys, if you're not watching the video version of this after show, check it out right now because there's so much happening. It's like a ninja rave in here in the studio right here tonight. Guys, this is the American Ninja Warrior After Show right here on AfterBuzz TV. This is season 8, episode 4, the qualifiers straight from OKC, my birth state, Oklahoma, coming to you. I am Ty Matthews. As always, I am at Ty Matthews PMA on Twitter, on Instagram, on Snapchat, on Facebook, on MySpace, any sort of social media. Find me, Ty Matthews PMA. That's Positive Mental Attitude. Next to me,
Next to you is the lovely Chris Howard.
Lovely as always.
Lovely as always. And are you on Grindr too? Can we find you on there?
I'm not on Grindr.
Okay, not on Grindr.
Not yet.
We had all the sites covered. I just needed to know. Chris Howard, you can find me during the show. You can communicate with me or afterwards at Chris Howard Live on Twitter and Instagram. Also go to legendarylivingdaily.com. I've got lots of motivation tips, business expansion things on there. Really cool stuff. And legendaryliving.tv.com. That's it for YouTube.
There you
we
go.
do all the networks these days.
There you go. And if you're not, guys, if you're not tuning in to our snaps and our Instagrams prior to the show, you're really missing out because Chris Howard puts on a goddamn clinic every single week. It's incredible.
A clinic every week.
It really brightens up my night.
I just come in, I push the buttons, and we hope that everything, we pray to God that it all goes right.
Fingers crossed. Hope for the best.
Yes.
As I said, we're coming to you from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma for our fourth set of qualifiers. Almost done with qualifiers. We've got one more left in Philly next week.
Philly next week. I'm going to be there. And tonight was fantastic in Oklahoma. And you know what they say? There's only two things that come from Oklahoma: steers and ninjas.
That's exactly what they say. Right?
That is what they say.
But let's break down this course right quick. Of course, we start off, as always, with our floating steps. We go right into the ring swing, where ninjas must swing, obviously, on a ring, hook it onto an anchor point, grab another ring, and then swing off to the next platform.
Very difficult, not easy going from that platform because you go back to grab the ring, gotta do the second ring over, and
it's really it's hooking onto that anchor point that really trips a lot of people up.
Trips them up and breaks their rhythm as they're going forward.
Exactly. Next up, we've got the log runner, not to be confused with the log roller. Nobody's rolling on any logs, but this time they are running across logs with the potential to roll.
Rolling across, and we saw some rolling tonight. We just saw some rolling take out some of our favorite champions.
We'll get into that. A lot of fan favorites hitting the drink tonight.
Yes. It's hard to swallow, but it happened.
Right after that, we've got the tire swing, where contestants must swing from suspended tires, one of which is kind of almost fixed into place with a bungee cord.
Oh, very difficult on that second tire because you can't get the rhythm once again of the swing. And then we saw that in two places tonight where they break the rhythm purposefully. So you got to kind of go back and reestablish yourself to move on. Very difficult. Took a lot of people out.
Absolutely. Right after that, we've got a brand new obstacle called the bar hop, where ninjas must grab a hold of a bar, kind of swing themselves up into another cradle.
Yeah, it's like a horizontal salmon ladder, isn't it? So you've got to swing up in the cradle and then move to the next one.
Yeah, those cradles are curved. Yeah, so you got to kind of swing up and then back down, grab onto a lock bar, complete one more set of bar hops, and then, of course, it is on to the brand new warped wall, 14.6 inches.
14 and a half feet for those of you that don't know metrics.
You know, that stuff.
That wasn't metrics.
That stuff. 14 feet, 6 inches is what I meant to say. You get it.
You get it. And ninjas aren't that bright.
It's a high warped wall. Yes. That's what it is. Let's start off with the world's most jacked athlete, Michael Ray Garvin, 5'8", 180 pounds.
180 pounds, and I mean lean. This guy is ripped like you've never seen.
He's so jacked, he went viral. That's
how jacked he was.
That's how jacked he was. He became a meme. because that's the only way you can become a meme is if you're jacked.
Do you know meme is the real definition comes from a guy named Richard Dawkins. It means thought theme. So it's a thought theme that propagates throughout the system. It's like a virus.
Interesting.
There you go.
This is an educational after show.
That's right.
Richard Dawkins, get some atheism in your head. Unless that's not your thing. That's fine.
There you go.
But, Michael Ray Garvin, former NFL star, can bench press 225 18 times because why not?
Because why not?
You know.
And you're talking about getting religion into your system. I'm sure that these guys were reaching out to God here tonight to help them across this course.
Right.
Because it was difficult right from the beginning.
This was a tough one. This was definitely a tough one. He gets tripped up on the ring swing. We find out he's got zero obstacle experience.
Zero.
And it's, we're so used to these stories of everyone has courses in their backyard and what have you. And this guy is just a straight up athlete.
Yeah, and you can either be an athlete or be an athletic supporter, however you roll. We wanted you to come out for the show here tonight. And I have to say that just as an athlete, he did pretty good, but it wasn't enough to take him across this course.
Not quite enough. Right after the ring swing, he trips up, kind of almost lands on one foot on the dismount, ends up going in the water.
Yeah. Not uncommon here early on. And this is something you and I talked about before, was that, it takes a couple of rounds to watch people and how they're attacking the course to really get into the swing of things.
Sure.
Yeah.
Exactly. Especially with things like the bar hop, the tire swing, things like that. Really, really tripped a lot of people up. So you want to kind of get a solid strategy down.
Solid strategy, and it's even tougher when they're adding new obstacles in all the time.
Exactly. I mean, on that tire swing, on that very first tire, it's easy to kind of get it almost completely vertical.
Absolutely.
And at that point, it's even harder to get some momentum going to get to that second one.
Second one, especially if you've got weight too. If you've got, if you're heavy on any of those hanging activities, we know that has more of a chance of pulling you down.
Absolutely. Next up, we've got Major Doom, one of my favorite ninjas, 39 years old, Brian Doom, straight out of Wichita, Kansas. He's an Air Force tanker pilot.
This tanker pilot was flying across this course here tonight. He was streaking his way through the course, but unfortunately not too far.
This course, he said this course was doomed from the start. He's an older rookie at 39, gets the ring swing on the first try, looks awesome with it, almost trips up on those logs, makes a very good save, but it's that grip on the tires. He makes it through. And it's, we've talked about how there always seems to be an obstacle that tests your grip strength, that tests,
yes,
that has such a small ledge.
And here's a guy, I have to say that even though, he was really good at takeoff, and you have to throw it in there,
sure,
right? That's in the spirit of Akbar and Matt.
Naturally.
But what's inspiring for me is that he's 39 years old.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm 46 years old, and to see these older guys going out there and doing the course, it really is inspirational. I think there's something that we can take from that, because I know that part of American Ninja Warrior is they want you to take home the story of each of these people.
Exactly.
And let it be a source of inspiration for people in the audience. And we see so many times that people come from the audience that make it to the show, and they absolutely were inspired by somebody along the way.
Definitely, and we'll see even older ninjas as the night progresses. Major Doom doesn't make it past the bar hop. It's he's the first casualty of the bar hop. Definitely one of the deadlier obstacles of the night.
Deadlier obstacle for Major Doom, and you gotta, the Legion of Doom just can't win. Good always prevails over evil, and we saw Doom lose it early on.
Of course. Speaking of, we talked about older ninjas. We've got one right here. Matt Stringer, 47 years old. Let's talk about the Ninja 9. This man has 7 daughters, all under the age of 12.
Under the age of 12, and did you notice that they all, their first name starts with an S?
Yep.
So what is it with the S?
That Stringer clan, they really like the alliteration.
Yeah. Oh, is that what it was? The alliteration? Did they say that?
Is it alliteration? Well, they didn't say that, but would it be called alliteration?
I think so.
If it's a consonant? Sure.
If we're wrong, let us know.
Let us know. Sure.
But S is also, do you think there's a Superman correlation there? The S, and he says that's not an S on my chest, that stands for hope. So maybe the Stringers were bringing us hope here tonight.
Hope.
And he was doing it for the whole family. That was neat.
Yeah, exactly. He lost 40 pounds. He's down to 165.
Insane.
And just because his family just wanted him to do it. They were watching it one night and they said, hey, you should do that. And he God bless him, he decided to do
He
it.
decided to do it. And now, was that family from Utah? Were they the Stringer family? I know there was another one that was from Utah. I don't see any notes saying they were from Utah, but they certainly have a family the size of being from Utah.
Sure.
Yeah. How do you, I mean, 7 kids in one family.
And
all girls.
All daughters, yeah.
Oh, what a trip.
That's pretty nuts. Takes it a little bit low on those floating steps, has an awesome ring, or awesome dismount coming off the ring swing, gets across the logs like it's absolutely nothing, but it's that bungee cord holding up that middle tire on the tire swing that does him in.
Throws him for a loop. And, they said that he couldn't do a single pull-up the year before, and now he was doing 30. But those 30 pull-ups didn't help him on the tires that took him out. Yeah.
Right. It's such awkward positioning to try and get those tires to do what you want them to do.
Once when you turn and the positioning turns you backwards or something, it's very, very difficult to recover from.
Right. Over the course of the break, we've got a Harlem Globetrotter, Flip White Jr. Love the Harlem Globetrotters.
Did you ever see them play?
I never, not live, but I remember back in the day watching the cartoon. I watched the cartoon a lot when I was a kid.
They're good fun. Up in, I come from Lake Tahoe, and at my high school, they actually
just
came
there this weekend.
You're kidding me. Where'd you go?
I was up there for a wedding at a corral.
Oh, that's all. At a corral, okay. Yeah. I went to a Hell's Angels wedding once. I'll tell you about it sometime.
Oh, my.
Yes, up in Tahoe. But I grew up there in Zephyr Cove, if you know where that is.
Okay. I was right there, yeah.
Oh, what a trip.
But yes, the Harlem Globetrotters.
Harlem Globetrotters came and played at my high school.
No
so they
kidding.
did a demonstration game. Yeah, that was really fun and neat to go to.
The confetti gimmick.
They did the whole thing, so it was kind of neat. But yeah, so he ran the course tonight. We didn't get to see much of that.
Not too much. We saw it during a commercial break, but I just love that someone is a ninja and a globetrotter. Awesome combination. Let's talk Ninja Nate. Nate Burkhalter. This guy drills water wells, in other countries.
For he does a lot of charity work. Yeah,
right.
So he goes and he helps people because he's an engineer, and so he helps people in his spare time as well to get access to water, which they might not have in developing nations. So that was a neat story once again that shows that ninjas can care as well.
Absolutely,
ninjas care.
Absolutely, of course.
Yeah.
Hashtag ninjas care, guys. Get it trending. He was a walk-on for 2 seasons. Finally got his invitation. Got past the ring swing on the very first try. Makes the logs look like an absolute breeze. It looks like that tire dismount might have gotten him a little bit, but he makes it past, goes past the bar hop, and that's where we find out at the very end of that bar hop, you really want to have that switch grip.
That was and he was the first person to demonstrate. Well, he's the first person that made it that far. Right.
Exactly.
We saw the switch grip with Nate. Not everybody tonight used it, but it seemed to really help him as he was making it all the way across. And he's the first guy that makes it through. Yeah.
Right up that wall. Finishes in 2 minutes 48 seconds for our first finish of the night.
Beautifully done. This engineer engineered his way through this course, and while he drills water for developing nations, he did not touch water tonight, and we were blessed to find that out. First guy through the course, yes.
Next up, we've got Allison Topperwine, a single mom who's recently diagnosed with Parkinson's, and I love this because she says that really the only thing that will slow the progression of Parkinson's is exercise, and how much more exercise can you get
than being a ninja,
preparing for American Ninja Warrior and making it onto the course.
That was awesome. Yeah, and of course she put a lot of work into what she was doing, and this is her run is really to show people that no matter what you're faced with, you can overcome that adversity. And she certainly had some challenges tonight, and she was shaken but not stirred.
Right. Yeah, she makes it past those floating steps. Looks like she's almost gonna slip off one of those steps. Makes it onto the rope, but it's just it's heartbreaking to watch that rope, because as you lose momentum, it kind of gets further and further away.
And every time we saw that tonight, as soon as they lose the momentum, it's like, oh, your heart goes out to them,
right? Because
it's just about done. There was maybe 1 or 2 people that made it beyond that if they lost that momentum, but once you're there, it's very difficult to recover from.
Definitely. But it's like we said, just making it past those steps is already kind of symbolic enough.
Absolutely.
For a single mom with Parkinson's, just
even showing up, yeah, single mother, Parkinson's, and I mean, all this came on at what. At one time where she divorced her husband of 27, 28 years. She was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, and it's like, wow, how do you handle all of that And I think we got to see that story show up time and time again tonight with people who were able to overcome adversity, channel their energies into a positive way, and challenge themselves to step up and achieve something that they didn't think that they could do previously.
Right, definitely. Next up, we've got Brian Burkhalter, law student, comes out complete with a podium. I love everyone. I love the people that have props.
Yeah,
that's what I really like.
So we have to give him props tonight for the props. Props.
Bless you.
Bless you. He's running for class president. Yeah.
Straight out of Texas Tech, lost by 20 votes. Here, making a run for Ninja Warrior.
Absolutely.
Blazes right past the rings. Kind of leaps at that last log on the log runner. Just absolutely. They talk about it being such almost like a reckless pace.
Yeah, no, it almost looks spastic.
Just guns blazing. Not graceful. But
it's almost a Donald Trump strategy for running for president, right? Not very graceful. We'll throw whatever sticks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Akbar mentions that his butt is a little bit low when he gets into that tire swing. You want to keep your center of gravity a little bit higher.
Yeah, we saw that for sure. And so the State of the Union wasn't good tonight. He lost it there.
He ends up kind of almost leaning a little bit too far back on that dismount right into the water.
And we saw him, that wasn't a very pretty dismount.
Right. So sadly, he lost his run for president. He lost his run for Ninja Warrior.
Maybe, but he can recover. He said you could recover, and that was his point. He was saying that even if you make mistakes, you tumble. And I took that from this episode as well. You can always overcome that. No matter what happens, you can do it again. So we'll see him coming back either for president.
Exactly. And even to that point, you don't necessarily have to finish the course in order to qualify for the city finals.
Good point.
It is all about, once everyone that's finished has been counted, it is all about who got the furthest the fastest.
Exactly. Who got the furthest the fastest, and even Donald Trump can have a bad hair day.
Exactly. Over the course of the break, we've got Kevin Kline, who made it to the Vegas finals for 2 seasons, but he will not get past that damn log runner.
Wow. Yeah, that can really trip some people up. Some of the people tonight they breezed across it, and it seemed like they were stepping light and fast.
Right, exactly.
Kind of what and then there were other people that just took them down. I was looking at it going, okay, could I do this? And you just don't know. It's it's hard to calibrate.
Sure, exactly. Next up, we've got Brian Baxter, straight out of St. George, Utah, and this guy's home course is phenomenal.
He was amazing.
His kids wanted a Ninja Warrior themed birthday party, and he did not skimp on the details. This guy's got a salmon ladder. He's got 3 different warped walls.
I think we needed to call him the obsessed ninja. Yeah, because he started with 3 obstacles that turned into 40 in the backyard.
And it's just a little Mount Midoriyama right there in his backyard, as you do.
And am I mistaken here, or did he seem to have a whole lot of kids? Or was that all the neighborhood kids?
That may have been all the neighborhood kids.
Okay, all right, because there were 40 kids in his house.
Exactly. God knows if I knew something like that was in my neighborhood,
you'd be over there.
You'd never be able to get me away from that house.
Now, this was the guy from Utah. His whole family came from Utah.
Yeah, he was from St. George. Yeah.
It's always possible in St. George that maybe he has 7 wives, and you could get 40 kids out of that.
Sure. Yeah. At 6'2", got a great wingspan. He was a former point guard at Southern Virginia University, which makes a lot of sense. Really, we've talked about how that wingspan really, really helps you on a lot of these obstacles requiring a lot of reach.
Absolutely. And there were a lot of them that required reach on this particular course, it seemed.
Right.
And he was able to slam dunk this.
So it helped him. It helped him on the tires. I mean, just breezed. Really kind of was the first guy that made the bar hop look like it could be tackled.
Yeah, tackled and boy, he just made a full court press, made it happen.
Exactly. And they mentioned as he's going across that log roller, or the log runner rather, he's stepping down on the top of the log, and that's what you want to do to keep them from spinning. If you step too far near you or too far on the other side, you risk spinning and sending yourself into the water. But if you're pressing down right on the very top of those logs, that's kind of how you get across.
And once again, it was that light step too. So he was lifting his legs almost up to a 90-degree angle, and then stepping right down lightly and quickly.
Exactly.
And you got that height, that 6'2". Once again, it was 6'2".
Yeah.
Really helped him in making that across there, because the log runner. the distance between the logs was not minute.
Right, exactly.
They were pretty spread thin.
So Brian Baxter makes right up the warped wall in 2 minutes 35 seconds, hangs off that wall with one arm just because he can.
Looking so cool because he can, and made it up there, and we got to see some steam tonight from Brian.
Definitely. Next up, we've got Edema, 33, from St. Louis. Firstly, he's a Renaissance man. This guy, he can do IT, he can sew, he can design fashion garments, he can skate. I mean, this guy does it all. But more importantly, he's got a son that was diagnosed with spina bifida. We talked a lot about, overcoming adversity and things like that. And it really doesn't seem like there are that many ninjas that don't have something bigger to fight for.
And fighting for, when you think about that, it just goes to show us that we all have stuff in our lives, because every one of these is coming in with a story. Every ninja's coming in with a story. And if you were to go on, or I was to go on, or something, I'm not saying that we will. Maybe we will.
You never know.
On a commercial break, they put us on, right? But we don't each bring our own story. What was because we've all overcome challenges and adversity. And I love how people are able to channel that through this show and to be inspired in something greater than them, even if it's some sort of physical challenge like this. It's inspiring. Right. It's inspiring for other things, and we can map. If we have success here, where else can we have success?
Exactly.
PMA.
There you go. PMA all day.
All day.
We talk about how he was a skater, and that balance really seems to come in handy on the log runner. Before that, he has kind of a violent dismount on that ring swing.
Right.
I mean, sometimes it's not an easy way down. He grips the outside of the tires, which to me seemed like it might have made it a little bit more challenging.
Yeah, it seemed a little more challenging. Although I'll have to say that on this particular challenge didn't seem to me as challenging. Of course, I wasn't running it.
Sure.
But as the other in the other two episodes where the grip was only an inch,
right?
Because at least here you've got something to grip.
We've got an extra half inch on that last tire. Those first two tires have a 2-inch ledge. The third tire has an 1.5-inch ledge. Right. But as they say later on in the episode, once we get to Sam Sann's run, it's that last tire has a cap over the top of it, so you can't grip overhand.
Well, you have a deep understanding.
We're trying to become ninjas.
We are.
Trying to be educated.
We are, and you know what? Now, Edema had the long hair, right?
No, not
okay.
Edema.
All right, Edema. Okay, no long hair.
Getting up here, we've got Lance Pekus, our cowboy ninja.
Oh, there it is.
A rancher from Salmon, Idaho.
Yeehaw!
I love that. Yeah, he goes out to these places in the wilderness, and there are natural obstacles all around him.
Whether he's natural obstacles, whether he's taking the rafting, going river rafting, or whatever, because he's helping. He's doing seasonal work with the National Forest Service, and he has to go into areas that are off the beaten track. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. We've seen so many people that train in gyms and at CrossFit gyms and their own homemade courses, but it really is something else when you've got just nature all around you and you're making that your obstacle course.
And you're making that your obstacle course, and this guy is bold enough to show up in a cowboy hat, wear the hat.
Jeans.
Yeah, this guy's not going bareback tonight. He's got jeans on, a cowboy hat, and he tackles the course with with determination.
He's getting in there. That ring swing gives him a little bit of trouble, more so than I thought. Takes him a few tries.
He looked like he was going to breeze through the course, and he got stuck.
He was one, again, like we said, one of the fan favorites, but it was that log runner that really did him in.
Yeah,
and just had almost kind of a pretty aggressive, pretty violent fall on that very last log.
Really, mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys.
He's qualified 3 times before, so you got to think it's so heartbreaking to not make it all the way.
It was heartbreaking on a number of these runs here tonight because we wanted to see them go through.
Exactly.
And that was what was special about this episode. I think that it engaged the audience emotionally, engaged me emotionally, pulled me in because there were so many people that you were rooting for that unfortunately didn't make it tonight.
Right. And speaking of rooting for people, we go from heartbreaking to straight up inspirational. Let's talk about Artis Thompson III, AT3. He lost his older brother in a motorcycle accident, lost one of his legs in a motorcycle accident, but that is not keeping him out of this course.
Of course, is not keeping him out. He's a very determined guy. And AT3, I like that. AT3,
Yeah.
so it's Artis Thompson the third.
There you go.
See, I gave him my own name. I wanted to call him the Cyborg Ninja.
Okay.
Because he's got
Sure.
got the prosthetic leg,
Sure.
and it actually helps him to jump higher because it's got that spring inside of it.
Right.
And this guy was ripped too. He was really in great shape.
Absolutely.
And boy, were you rooting for this guy or what?
Oh my God. So he, makes it across those rings like it's absolutely nothing, but it's the log runner that really trips him up. But he does not hit the water. He starts bear crawling across these logs.
I bear crawling, and I have to give this the most inspirational run of the night. What do you think?
Absolutely, by far.
Yeah, by
For
far.
sure.
So he trips up on the logs.
Yeah, and you got to think he's done for at that point.
Yeah, we thought he was done for, but
he's holding himself between these logs.
and one of his legs is a prosthetic leg, and you're looking at it going, "Is this guy going to make it across?" But I thought, I have to say, I had given up all hope, and he makes it.
But it's slowly but surely he kind of he has this bear crawl strategy where he's holding himself between these logs, gets one foot on top of the next log, kind of
That's all he has is 1 foot.
pushes himself up, and then rinse and repeat, and then finally kind of pushes himself onto that platform.
Unbelievable.
And the place just absolutely erupts.
They erupt. He got a standing ovation at that point.
Definitely.
He got a couple of standing ovations here tonight.
Right.
Yeah.
Sadly, though, it seems like all of that energy expended might have done him in, because it was that very last tire on the tire swing.
He was tired by the times he hit the tires. Yeah. But it's true, because when you think about the amount of energy that people expend on each obstacle, one can only assume that if you're blowing the energy, like we saw with some of the other participants that didn't make it very far, it's just that they were toast by the time they get to obstacle 4 or 5.
Right, exactly.
So those that are able to conserve the energy, that it seems to be an intricate part of a great strategy.
Right. And it's, when we see people that are so agile and so quick, it's not necessarily about making the best time, but it really seems to be about conserving your strength. Because if you get across those logs just like that, you've got some time to kind of settle, get your equilibrium, get your balance,
get your breath, and find your space before you move on to the next obstacle. Yeah. So
Exactly.
I'm with you 100%.
Over the course of the break, we talked about we talked about the lady that had Parkinson's. And over the course of the break, we've got Grant Clinton, who just had a stroke 6 months ago.
And 6 months ago, and what's neat is to see somebody that has gone through something like that get out there and do something about it. And they say with stroke, somebody who's suffered from a stroke, the faster you can start to rework the neurology, the better, because if you don't, the neurology will atrophy and it will die off. But if you get working that neurology, whether that be through creative visualization or through activity, you have the best opportunity to recapture everything that you once had in terms of capabilities.
Definitely. And it's just like Alison Topperwine said with Parkinson's, that really exercise is the best way to stave off that progress. And so it's the same exact thing with Grant Clinton right here. Makes it all the way up to the tire swing, doesn't quite make it across, but once again, another story that's just it's impressive enough that he's making it out there.
Yeah, making it out there, and you got to applaud these people that are coming and stepping up to the stepping up to the mark and doing it, even beginning.
Right.
Think about it. I mean, we're just sitting here in studio talking about what they do.
Yeah, absolutely. We've also got Cass Clausen, who makes it with one of the fastest times of the night. So we'll see him in the city finals. Next up, we've got John Stewart, who is at 54 years old.
My God.
The oldest man to make it up the warped wall.
Ever. And he set, he had the record, and he beats his own record.
Previously, ends up breaking his own record.
He's a rock climber, and this guy rocked it here tonight.
Definitely.
He really rocked his talk.
At 5'8", he doesn't quite have the reach or the wingspan that some of our 6'2", 6'3" ninjas have had.
But even though he doesn't have the reach or the wingspan, he has that lean, wiry type of a frame that seems to do really well because they don't carry as much weight. They're not carrying as much baggage.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like we said, at 3 minutes 18 seconds, breaks his own record, makes him the oldest man to make it up that warped wall. Yeah. I think it probably would have been maybe 3:13, 3:14. It seemed like he might have forgotten to hit that buzzer once he made it up that wall.
It's like, shit, I made it.
I had to point out, like, no, hit the
buzzer, dude.
It might have been 3:13, 3:14 if he'd remembered. But breaking his own record.
Great time. And look at that, 54 years old going through this course. A source of inspiration certainly for people like me.
Definitely. There you go. Next up, we've got Scott started the Shark Ninja. He's got the largest rubber shark collection.
I mean, okay, a rubber shark collection.
I'm a sucker for obscure records and statistics. Absolutely.
The largest rubber shark collection. How would you even know that you had the largest?
Yeah. No clue.
Yeah,
no clue. I really hope Guinness flew someone out to check and to verify.
Now, I wonder if they mean the largest in terms of he's got one large rubber shark, or is it a lot of...
I think he's got a ton.
Okay.
Ton of little rubber sharks.
A ton of little rubber sharks. Got it.
We see during his video package, it looks like he's almost defying gravity on these rock climbing walls.
How cool was that? Defying gravity?
It looked like he was like attached to something. Maybe he was. Maybe I missed something. But it looked like he was just so graceful.
Now, this is our video game stuntman, yeah?
I don't think so.
Starter? No,
I don't think so.
Okay,
I don't think so. We will get to that.
We're all over the map. I am.
I think, but maybe. I don't know.
It's all good.
My notes are all over the place.
Tonight. Somebody was tonight.
But he's wearing. I love that he's wearing those kind of the Sasuke shoes.
They're called Ninja Tabby.
Okay.
Yeah. So the tabby that the ninjas wear, it's a two-toed shoe that has a special grip on the bottom to help them supposedly climb, but it didn't work out that well for him tonight.
It didn't work out. It seemed like that would have helped him on those logs, but possibly the lack of grip and of traction might have done him in.
Because the bottom of those shoes are actually made of, the ones that I've seen and felt before were made out of a plastic, and they've got grooves in them like a tennis shoe would have, but you would think that it would hold on. And actually, some of them are made of cloth too, so you can actually like kung fu shoes are made of cloth, so you can grip through the shoes with your toes.
Okay,
but it didn't do the job here tonight.
So next up, over the course of the break, we've got Andrew Lowe's and Karsten Williams, both multiple-time veterans. Andrew Lowe's a 5-time veteran, Karsten Williams a 4-time veteran, both finishing up the warped wall. I love that Andrew Lowe's, like they said, was so confident. He took a selfie, brought his phone with him, took a selfie up there right after the warped wall.
It's funny, right after the warped wall, they're taking the photo at the top. A lot of the people that we saw going here tonight, it seems that they were making it on the breaks, on the commercial breaks. We were seeing time record times on those breaks, and so they brought those runs into the lead up after the break for us, so we could watch those.
Sure. Yeah. I'm starting to think you might have been right. Scott Started may have been our mocap.
Okay, I was right for once. It doesn't happen often.
I love that. I love.
Wasn't that cool?
Right. Yeah. He can be a troll or a martial artist. And
so he does video games, and they'll put the suit on him, and they have all the motion sensors, and so he'll actually participate in the creation of the game. So he's a real video game ninja.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up, we've got Sann, 49 years old, another one of our older ninjas, a mentor to some of our other competitors as well.
Absolutely. Great mentor and guide. He's a gym owner. He's in the business of training other ninjas, and this business owner meant business here tonight.
Definitely. We find out he's made it to Vegas the past 3 years, trying to get there again. Another amazing inspirational story, escaped Cambodia as a boy, still got family members that he's looking for. I mean, just absolutely incredible past.
Yeah, but incredible past. And once again, it just goes into the depth and richness and emotional texture and richness of each of these personal backgrounds that people are coming. We all have our stories once again, and that's deep. I mean, we think we have problems being in Cambodia when they're killing people and
exactly.
Trying to find your family. I mean, that's a problem.
Right. Yeah. So it almost looks like on the log runner, he almost kind of like freezes. Like it looks like he stumbles and then he kind of freezes, and I really think that that's it for him.
Freezes in a split.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Ends up saving himself, gets a big, huge, like, kind of backwards momentum swing on that rope right into the tire
backwards
swing.
What did you think of that? Because he actually looked like he ran back, which we haven't seen that from anybody
yet. I was surprised
yet.
not more people did that.
Yeah, you would think that it would really work well. However, he didn't seem to get the benefit of it, because he went up, reached for the tire, missed it the first time, and had to go back and
exactly. Grip kind of gives out on that very last tire. That's what we were saying before, where it's got that cap on the top. So if you try to reach over and grip the inside of it, you're not going to be able to grab onto anything.
Not able to grab onto anything, and this was the first person, I think, tonight where that really became an issue. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So it's that last tire that does him in. Next up, we've got Kyle Mendoza, our FedEx driver / parkour YouTube star.
This is the parkour YouTube star. This guy was my favorite here tonight. I have to say,
right?
That the one-legged man was my favorite, most inspirational story.
Sure.
Cyborg Ninja, I'll call him. But Kyle Mendoza, awesome flips, awesome gymnastics. I mean, this guy blew me away.
Speed is this constant presence in his life, even at work. You know, we find out he can do 44 stops in just 2.5 hours when he's driving for FedEx.
Driving for FedEx, but he's running for FedEx too. And
just sprinting to the door.
Sprints to the door and back to the car.
Yeah.
And he might do some flips in the between.
Exactly. But he's doing flips all over the course at the beginning, in the middle, eventually gets up that warped wall right at the end, finishes in 2 minutes, 23 seconds.
FedEx bringing it home on time. This delivery driver delivered here tonight.
So fast.
That was really an amazing run. Fun to watch, and I look forward to seeing him on future courses.
Sure. We heard a lot tonight about Ninja Warrior's royal couple, Brent Stephenson, Kacy Catanzaro. Brent Stephenson is up first in his 7th year of competition. Sadly, they're not a couple anymore, but they're still friends. They're still coworkers. They're still training partners.
Still training partners. And how many people do you think celebrated tonight when they heard that they were not a couple anymore? Seriously, I heard it. I just heard them ringing in my ears right there at that moment, and it was like, okay, we can all be excited. Kacy is single, but sorry, Brent, for that. And the lack of commitment in the relationship may have affected the commitment to the course because he didn't go as far as we expected.
Right. It was once again, we talked about our fan favorites, our Ninja Warriors that people really expected to go all the way to go to Vegas, didn't end up making it all the way through. It was that last bar he didn't have that switch grip. He's got both hands, palms out, and that bar just kind of slips right out of his hands.
The bar evaded him, and the bar was a better ninja than him here tonight. And what was interesting is when Christine Leahy interviewed him afterwards, she said, "Did you consider using the switch grip?" He said, "I'm just not that comfortable with it."
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes, it just doesn't feel natural, Right.
It doesn't feel natural. And I wonder what doesn't feel natural inside the relationship after Kacy got all seriously though, I mean, she got all this world... she had this viral video that goes out there.
Sure.
The whole world knows her. Do you think that got to her head? And do you think that had something to do with the breakup of the relationship? Or
that's a good question. I think when you're faced with that much success and that much just pressure, it's got to be an enormous amount of pressure and expectation to try and live up.
And the pressure, expectation, and fame, all those things coming in at once has got to be really challenging.
Right. So that's
both
probably
parties.
I mean, you've got to be. I'm sure it's very, very taxing.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Kacy Catanzaro, the other half of this pair. She her video went so viral, but she lost in Houston. She slipped on that jump in Vegas last year, which is absolutely just heart-wrenching to watch.
Big emotional story though, heart-wrenching to watch, but the audience was behind her, the viewership's behind her. We wanted her to win. She was the one that I really wanted to see go through.
And I think one of the reasons that her story got so big and that people really rooted for her is because you look at her and you don't expect it. She's 5 feet tall, 95 pounds.
5 feet tall.
And she's making it through these reach-based obstacles.
Reach-based obstacles, and she got some trouble with the first reach-based obstacle.
She did. Yeah, on those logs. We find that the gaps between these logs are 80% of her height.
Yeah, 80% of her height. How the heck is she going to do that?
Right.
Unless she's leaping forward, which negates the whole concept of stepping on the logs rather than
Exactly,
forward.
Yeah. And so she slips up on one of those logs, ends up kind of bear hugging onto it, but at that point really there's no way to save yourself.
Yeah, I'm looking at her gripped on going, yes, go Kacy, go, and hoping for the impossible, and we weren't able to pull off the impossible here tonight.
Right. So heartbreaking to watch, but it's still an amazing story. We're still gonna have a tremendous fan following, obviously.
Absolutely.
Next up, we've got a parkour instructor, Thomas Stillings. I love that his mom is watching via FaceTime, because if I was on this course, that's absolutely what my mom would be doing.
She'd be watching on FaceTime.
Exactly.
So she knows. Is she good with that?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. She's
totally...
just starting to get into it. just teaching her the ins and outs of the iPhone. But that, Tom Stallings, that very first bar hop was absolutely incredible.
Amazing.
Nobody else tonight was able to do it with no hesitation at all.
No hesitation, and he just flew through this course. I mean, he really was the best example of somebody racing this to the. I mean, he had the best time.
He had the best time, 1 minute and 43 seconds, right up that wall. wall. He's got his genie pants. Those are powering him
Genie
through.
pants. What was that about? Yeah,
You
he said that his girlfriend gave them to him. And he said they were flamboyant, and he's flamboyant.
He flew through it like it was a magic carpet.
Yes, he did. Oh, there you go.
But finally, we've got our final ninja of the night, Daniel Gill. This is the guy where it's all about the hair.
Yeah, okay, you're right. He looked like he was off the cover of a romance novel, right? Daniel Gill, hey,
Sure.
ladies, he looked like Fabio.
But he's not only a ninja, he just became part of a professional dance troupe, which you got to think has got to help with dexterity, coordination,
poise,
balance, all that stuff.
Yes, the ladies.
Of course. He was the fastest competitor in Houston last year, so really trying to set that record tonight. His mentor, Sann, who we saw earlier, is watching. Not only all that, but it's the guy's birthday.
It's his birthday, and he's celebrating on this course. He's having a good time.
He's got so many things working for him, and he's working so hard to break that record, but he comes up just 1 second short.
1 second short on
Thomas
his birthday.
Thomas Stillings had 1:43. Daniel Gill finished in 1 minute 44 seconds, less than a second actually, if you break it down.
It must have been the weight of the hair that drug it.
It's got to be the hair.
But if he cuts the hair, is he going to lose his strength like Samson? Only time will tell here in this course.
Right. So, guys, we've got so much. I mean, like we saw, so much heartbreak, so much triumph. That is the name of the game here on American Ninja Warrior. But that is our show. Next week, we've got our very last qualifier coming straight to you from Philly. We'll see Jeff Britton. We'll see the weatherman, Joe Moransky. We'll see all sorts of stuff. But guys, for now, Chris, where can they find you?
You can find me at legendarylivingdaily.com for tips, motivation, inspiration on growing your life, as well as legendarylivingtv.com for YouTube, and at Chris Howard Live for Instagram and Twitter. Join me.
And you want to watch him on Instagram.
Watch me.
As we said,
I'm pro.
The guy is a guru.
A guru.
As always, I am at Ty Matthews PMA on all sorts of social media, and you can find me on various other after shows, including Monday Night Raw, Houdini and Doyle, and Lucha Underground, which only has a couple episodes left. But remember, if you're on iTunes, download, comment, review, subscribe, rate, 5 stars if you're nasty. If you're on YouTube, leave us a thumbs up, leave us a comment, find us on Twitter, find us on Instagram. You love Ninja Warrior, we love Ninja Warrior. Let's all be ninjas. Let's all be hoodie ninjas together. Listen to MC Chris.
And play Twister.
But guys, until next week, until we're coming to you from Philly, peace!
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.